All right. My name is Shay Thayer, and I am the training coordinator here at WorldBook. I'm really excited today to be able to share WorldBook Kids with you. The goal of today's training is just a high-level overview of kids with some tips on which features to promote. I like to start with a quick presentation, and then we'll dive in with the time that I have left. You can feel free to ask questions throughout using the chat function. But I'll also save a couple minutes at the end to answer questions as well. So like I said, I like to start with just a quick review of WorldBook. WorldBook is best known for being a reliable source of trusted information. You can come to WorldBook for just the facts, and at a time when there's so much information out there and anyone can publish on the internet, knowing you have a safe, trusted source for information for learning is key. Where we really shine is our age-appropriate content. Our core resources are designed to progress with the learner, so WorldBook can be your trusted source from before you can read, all the way through adulthood. Every single detail in our resources is carefully thought out by our editorial and design teams. From the type of content presented, the amount of content, how a student navigates around, and more. You know that when you go to WorldBook, you'll be able to access information by themselves or with an adult. Especially important in the library to know all of the accommodations that are built in to help patrons access. We offer several accommodations in our core products, including kids, to help reach all learners. Every article can be read aloud, and the read aloud comes with a word-by-word highlight to help patrons follow along. There is a built-in pop-out dictionary, so as I'm reading and come across words I don't know or haven't seen before, which may happen often when looking up new topics, I can double-click and have it defined for me. You have one resource specifically in Spanish, but in addition to that, every single article can be translated into over 100 languages. This is great to make content accessible and ensure patrons get the information they're looking for. Articles are a big part of the resources, but the benefit to digital is that there are tons of other formats for information as well. We have pictures, videos, games, and tables, so patrons can access materials in a variety of ways. Today, as I mentioned, we'll be focused on WorldBook Kids, which is one of our core resources. Kids is aimed at the elementary age level. On the screen now are your other resources that you have access to. Well, we won't be diving into these today, but I'll show you where you can find more information for them. The training guide offers training and support for anything you need. These are the 3 different ways that you can access it. Here we have tons of ready-made material to help save you time. We have how-to pages, tutorial videos, promotional materials, timely topic documents, and every week we host a free webinar that you can register for from the training guide. We also have our certification program called WorldBook Insiders, where you can become experts on our products and earn perks along the way. The training guide is a great place to go if you are wondering about the products that we won't talk about today. All right, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and dive in to the products. Here is my super homepage where I can see all of the products that I have access to. We're going to go ahead and go into kids. So it will be represented by the little balloon icon. A couple things I want to point out here on the home screen of kids. The first one is this big feature image. This feature image will change every time I come back to the home screen. So let's just say I go to that World of Animals feature. I click on the WorldBook Kids logo to go back, and that image will be new. This is designed to help spark inquiry and help patrons learn about something they maybe weren't looking for originally. If they want to learn more about the image, they can click Read About and click into that article to read about the image that they saw. You can also scroll through different images in the background using the left and right arrows. There's 2 ways to search for materials on kids. The first way is to use the search bar here. So as I'm typing in a word, it's going to predict what I'm trying to type. So as I type dog, it's going to pop up with these different articles for me that include the word dog in the title. This is great if patrons are having trouble spelling a word or just, again, for sparking inquiry, and maybe they can click on an article that they weren't intending to go to. So maybe they didn't know what dog racing was. They can go ahead and click onto that after seeing it as an article. The other way is to explore. This will allow patrons to do a visual dig and explore by category. So I can click in, maybe to living things, plants, fruits, and then once I click into enough categories, it's going to give me a list of articles that are related to that category I selected. So here I have a list of all fruit articles. Down in the feature container, you'll find all of the other features available here on Kids. The first one here is pictures and videos. This will also allow you to do a visual dig like we saw with Explore, but this will be with media. So clicking in, I'll go a different route here, clicking on birds. Now I will see all of the pictures and videos that we have available on that topic. The next one in the feature container that I want to show you is activities. These are hands-on, and we have lots of different activities available here on Kids. They're sorted into these different categories. Once I click into a category, each icon I see will represent one of our activities. So for example, just clicking into one of them, the layout will always be the same. You'll have the materials needed on the left-hand side. There will be an introduction and the procedures, and an image or two to show what the activity should look like. These are great because a lot of them are low cost or easy to find materials. There are links to related articles to help build background knowledge on that activity. And a lot of them also come with lesson plans that can be found in our educator tools, if those are something that you're looking for, or if you have homeschool instructors looking for those. So those are activities. Science projects will look very similar. There are some different categories here. The one thing here in science projects that's not in activities is this how to do a science project button. Here I can actually see the different steps in the scientific process. So lots of great information here if you are, or if you have students researching how to do a scientific project or the scientific process, they can come here for that information. But the science projects look a lot like the activities with the materials, introduction, procedures, and images. So that layout is kind of the same. Here with the science projects, there will also usually be a discussion question or two in here as well. Here in Kids, we do have educational games. These can be sorted by game type. You can see we have puzzles, multiple choice games, matching, sorting, and crossword games. In addition to being able to browse by game type, you can also browse by subject. So if you have patrons specifically looking for a game related to science, they can click into this science category and see the different games. Same with social studies, math, and language arts. And then we also have an additional category for animals, since that is such a big interest at this age. Compare and contrast is also huge at this age. So we have two features to help with that. Those are World of Animals and Compare Places. World of Animals allows students to compare different animals. So I can click into a specific category. I can then choose my two animals. Once I choose one animal, I have a couple options here to learn more about that one animal. I can choose to go to the exhibit where I can view quick facts and related photos and videos. I can also click to view the article if I want to go more in depth to learn about the animal. So here I can read the full dolphin article. But the compare and contrast happens when I choose that second animal. So I'm just going to select the killer whale. I get the same options here to view the exhibit or to view the article. I'm going to go ahead and click compare now. And this is going to pull up a virtual Venn diagram comparing the two animals that I chose. So in this case, it will compare the dolphin to the killer whale. You can see all of the side-by-side facts. What I think is really great about this feature is that the quantitative data is depicted using these red bars. So it's really easy for young users to visualize how much more a killer whale weighs compared to a dolphin without having to understand the huge difference in those numbers. But you can see we have a couple different data points that are compared using those red bars. Once they've taken a look at the Venn diagram here, you can choose to either print the page off or make a new selection. Once you're within the feature, you can use the filter up top to change the category that you are looking at. So let's say I want to change from water mammals to birds. I can make that change with the filter. The compare places feature here in kids works pretty much the same way, but here I'm comparing different places around the world. So for example, maybe I want to compare different countries. I'll compare Argentina to the Bahamas. And you can see here when I select a place, I have two options. The Explore Argentina will open like the exhibit did in World of Animals. So it'll be those quick facts and related media. And then again, you have that option to view the article to read more about that specific place. But then clicking compare now, you'll get a virtual Venn diagram for those two places. And then same options here at the top to print the page or make a new selection. Another feature that's great for learning about a place is going to be Maps and More. There are actually 3 features within Maps and More. The first one here is Interactive Maps. Interactive Maps has pins in different places around the world. I'm just going to zoom out so you can see. Each color represents a different type of place. So you'll see 5 different colors on the map. I can click on the pins and get an image, a little fact, as well as a link to go directly to that article. I can also search for somewhere specific. So maybe I'm specifically looking for Paris. I can type it in that search bar and it will take me there on the map. You'll also see results here on the left-hand side to go to either the Paris article or the Eiffel Tower article. And then you have your controls here on the right-hand side where you can zoom in and out. You can also just kind of click and drag and use your mouse. And then this button will geolocate if you have that turned on for your computer. There we go. So that's going to geolocate to where I am. The next feature here in Maps and More is the Worldbook Atlas. This allows you to view different views of the map. For example, I'll click into North America, into the United States. On the left-hand side, I have an option for other views of this map, where I can view a political map, population density, average precipitation, lots of different views here. I can also click zoom out to go back, or click farther in to view a specific state and view those different views of that specific state. The last feature in Maps and More, I'm going to navigate to it this way, is the outline maps and flags. These are downloadable maps and flags from around the world. Just click into Europe. So for the continent, you can get with type, where each country will be labeled. You can also get it without type. So these are great if students are looking for maps for research projects that they need to fill out. These are great blank maps that can be used for lots of different things. You can also get a map for each country. And each country's map will also have the country flag. So again, these are great for maps to fill in if you're asking students to, or if patrons are being asked to fill in a map for a project, but they can also just be used to color. You can color in the different flags. The next feature in kids is important people. Important people is great if you have patrons doing a bibliography project. They can come here and search through the biographies. If they have someone specific in mind, they can type the name into the search bar and click search and have it pop up for them. You can also use our pre-created categories here to find someone that you haven't heard about and someone new that you want to look at. So we have lots of different categories, but just clicking onto a category, I'm going to get a list of all of the people and biographies that fall into that category that I chose. So in this case, athletes and sports related people. Let's say I want to specifically look at a female athlete. I can use the filters up here to narrow down that search. If I want to specifically find a female athlete from the 2000s, I can narrow it down even further. I also have the option to choose the cultural heritage or the country. And so I can narrow it down even further to find what I'm looking for. These biographies will look like articles. They will be slightly shorter than most of our articles, but they do have that information on the person to look at. The educator tools in kids I want to mention briefly are found in the upper right-hand corner. The first thing that you're going to see when you click into educator are the curriculum standards correlations. If you have homeschool instructors looking for this, this is where to find it. You would just select the state standards that they're looking for, the subject area, the grade level, and click submit. And it will pop up with all the standards. Any that we have materials for will have a link, but just so you know where to find it. This is also where you'll find the lesson plans that go along with some of our activities, games, and science projects. These are broken down into the same categories that we saw in the feature. For example, I clicked on the craft room category in activities, and we looked at that garden in a bottle activity. So here is what that lesson plan will look like. It will be more in depth. So if you're using one of these activities for like library programming or stations, you can use this lesson plan to help implement it. And then the last feature here in educator tools are our web quests. These are ready-made activities designed to be used alongside kids. So here we have one on amphibians. There's lots of different types of questions. Sometimes there's a game, and there will always be an answer key to help save you time. So these are great, again, for stations or for library programming if we have one on a topic that you're covering. So lots of different topics here, and they are organized by category, so they make it a little easier to find what you're looking for. All right, let's take a look at an article. Since that is such a big thing here on Kids, I do want to point out all of the accommodations and tools and settings that we have available on there. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a search for water. Clicking enter, I'm going to get my search results page where I can see a list of all of the articles matching my search term. I can also click more information if I want to view a different resource type other than articles. I can switch that here. I can choose to view pictures, videos, or maps for the search term. I also have an advanced search here. So if I want to search for a specific phrase, a specific lexile measure, I can do that here. But clicking into the water article, the first thing you're going to see typically is a big splash image to draw your attention. Underneath that image, the article will start. The text is chunked up by paragraph. They're pretty spaced out to help digest the information and break up the reading. The speaker icon will start the read aloud.
Water covers almost 3/4 of Earth's surface. Water is everywhere. It fills the oceans, rivers, and lakes.
And you can see that word by word highlight as it reads aloud, so I can follow along with it. We also have that double click dictionary. So if I don't know a word, I can double click on it. And that definition will pop up for me. From here, I can choose to search another word in the dictionary or just close it out and continue reading the article. In the upper right-hand corner, the gear icon represents your tools menu. Here I have the option to save. So users can save the article as a PDF by downloading it. They can save directly to their Google Drive or directly to their OneDrive. They have the option to share via Google Classroom, as well as the ability to copy the direct link. That link that can then be used to go directly to this article. You have the ability to print, view your citations, and that glitched out on me. I'll show you where else you can find those citations. You also have your translation feature here. As I mentioned, you have the ability to translate into over 100 different languages. Once I select the language that I want to translate into, I can select Go, and the article will open in a new tab in the language that I have selected. Quite a few of the translations will also include the read aloud feature, so I can still have the article read aloud to me.
El agua cubre casi 3/4 de la superficie de la Tierra.
Again, it doesn't work for every single language, but it does work for quite a few of them that read aloud still is there. The last thing in this tools menu is the read aloud settings, where I can change the voice of the read aloud as well as the speed, so I can make it faster or slower. Next to the tools menu is our menu. Here I can jump to specific sections of the article to navigate around easier. If it was a longer article, this would be more helpful because I would have more sections to jump around in. In the upper left-hand corner, I have a couple more tabs here. The pictures, videos, and more will pull together all of the media from throughout the article. So here you'll see pictures, videos, tables, anything that we have that you saw alongside the article will be pulled into this tab. We also have a more information tab. Here you can find related articles linked, related activities, science projects, and any lesson plans that go along with those. There are a couple comprehension questions, and this is also where you'll find the lexile measure of the article. The last thing on the article I want to show you is down at the bottom. Here you're going to see the citations for the article. Each article will be cited using MLA, APA, and Harvard format. Those citations can then be copied and pasted into a bibliography if patrons are doing a research project where they need that information. There's also going to be two icons here. This one will take you to the article in Spanish in IASGOS. IASGOS is part of your subscription, so you will be able to toggle directly here where users can view the article in Spanish. And then that second one that I want to show is the ability to get more information about the topic in Student. Student will have more in-depth articles at a higher lexile level. So if you have patrons who are looking for more information or who need a more difficult article, they can click this button and they will get the search results for water in student. So I just wanted to show you what that jump looks like. They won't go directly to the article, they'll actually just see the search results. So they can choose the resource that they're looking for or click back into a water article. And then the only feature that I didn't talk about down here is the dictionary. Here you can search the dictionary for a specific word. We also have some different information on different parts of definitions, parts of speech, understanding parts of speech, and some other things that may be helpful for students who are using a dictionary. But because we have that double-click dictionary, that will probably be more used than actually saving the word and going into the dictionary to type it in separately. Being able to just double-click in the article and have that definition pop up is very helpful, and it helps not lose their place in that article. The last thing I want to show you today is our training guide. So I can get to that from the training and support button in the bottom toolbar. And clicking help for kids will take me directly to the product page for kids. So here, I'm going to be able to find how-to articles on all of the different features here in kids that I talked about today. I can also find short videos on the different features as well, if you're more of a visual learner. The resources button will pull up a page with all resources found in the training guide that are related to kids. We have some learning resources, we have promotional material specifically for kids, and we also have timely topic documents. These just give ideas on how to use kids for the given timely topic. So for example, here's one on Hispanic Heritage Month, where it just gives different ideas on how to use the resource. These are updated regularly, but they will be here year-round. So you can see we still have up all of the different months here for you to access and look at. Going to the homepage of the training guide, I can click the logo like I can do in kids. Scrolling down, you'll see the product pages for all of our other products. For example, if you want to learn more about student features, you can go into that product page and it will look the same as it did in kids, but now related to student. Up at the top of the training guide, we have free material. Here you can find social media posts, different flyers, as well as those teaching topic documents here as well. The sitemap in the upper right-hand corner is going to show anything that's been recently added. There's also a section for the different lists that we have available. I want to point these out because they can be time-saving tools if you're looking for something specific in kids. Here we have a list of the activities in kids with the description and the category you can find it in. So instead of having to click into the categories and into each activity to find something that fits what you are looking for, you can come here and just look at the description. We also have the link and the lesson plan linked here as well, if there is one available. Also in the lists, you'll find a list of all of the games in kids. Again, a time-saving tool to see if we have a game that fits what you're looking for. And a list of all of the science projects in kids. There is also a section for libraries. So if there is something that you're wondering if we have available on the training guide that I didn't show, this would be where you can go to take a look. And this will have links to all of the different things that you might be looking for. Back on the homepage of the training guide, I want to point out the complimentary trainings. These are those free webinars that I mentioned. We do them on timely topics, but also on updates to World Book Online, and new features that have become available. And then our Insiders program is here as well if you're interested in becoming part of our certification program. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and open it up for questions. So if there is anything that you're wondering about or you would like me to show again, you can either unmute or go ahead and put it in the chat. No questions.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this for us, Shay.
Of course. I was excited to share kids with you guys. It doesn't look like we have any questions, but if you do have questions later on, you can always email training and I'd be happy to answer those for you as well. But that's all I have for you guys today.
Thanks again.
Of course. Thank you guys for being here. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Bye.